Welcome to Mat Time with Mark. My name is Mark Chauppetta. I am the host of the show. This is our third segment of Mat Time with Mark. Today is November 22nd, 2013, and it's a day that's pretty important in American history with the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. I am an old-timer when it comes to Whitman Hanson wrestling, although I can say I wasn't alive during the assassination. Today is going to be a great show. We got some great guests today, but before I get into our guests and introduce you, I just want to make a couple announcements that the Whitman Hanson Youth Program that I run along with my other coaches, first grade through fourth graders, we're actually closed for enrollment. We're up to our 50-kid maximum, which is crazy. We have a lot of first-time wrestlers. Probably about 90% of our kids are first-time wrestlers. First, second graders, then we have a pretty good mixture of third and fourth graders, so it's going to be pretty great. But I do know that the other group, the elementary group, the fifth graders through the eighth graders, Steve Wright and Coach Baker, they're still looking for kids. So I'm sure that after you have your Thanksgiving meal next week and you're sitting around and it's halftime on the football game, you're going to turn on public access TV, Whitman Hanson Cable, Channel 9, and you're going to watch Mat Time with Mark, and your son's going to be sitting there with a big full belly, and you're going to have to push him towards wrestling. So go to actually it's whwrestling.com. whwrestling.com is the website. So if you have any children, fifth grade through eighth grade, they're actually looking for kids. They're a little low in their numbers this year, so make sure you check that out. Also, this show, I think, has been kind of taking a turn towards the old days, and it was starting to go more from Mat Time with Mark to Midlife Crisis with Mark, wearing his 1985-86 wrestling jacket. And there's a lot of old wrestlers that have been kind of joining in and chiming in and giving thumbs up. I want to give a shout out to Vinny Saville, who is a 1980s wrestler who's a fan of Mat Time with Mark. But today we're going to kind of downsize a little bit, and we're going to go back to the youth, because that's what this is about. This is about the Whitman Hanson program, the high school program. Coach Kevin Broderick has a promising team this year, at least we hope so. And my guests today that are sitting here are a couple youngins, the captains of the team this year. In the yellow, we have Rob Bunszell. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Rob Bunszell?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? All right, like Bunszai or Bunszell?
Basically.
All right. And then next to Rob is Zach Perkins. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So, Rob, first, introduce yourself. Tell us how old you are, what grade you're in, and just give us a little background about yourself for the people.
I'm Rob Bunszell. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a captain of the Whitman Hanson wrestling team. I'm in my senior year of high school.
And what weight class are you going to be this year?
I'm weighing in around 150 now, so I'm leaning towards either 145 or 152.
Okay. And Zach?
I'm Zach Perkins. I'm a senior at Whitman Hanson. I've been wrestling ever since I was in like fifth grade. Been part of the program for a while.
So you were one of the youth wrestlers with Coach Baker and Coach Wright? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. So we actually have a graduate of that program. How about yourself?
I went to the youth program as well.
Perfect. Yeah. So even if we were running the first through fourth graders at that time, you would have been in my program,
exactly,
right?
Yep. We would have been there.
Now the sad thing here is that I actually grew up with Zach's father and his aunt, so I'm kind of feeling old, but that's okay. It's all good. But the Whitman Hanson wrestling program, as you know, is rich in tradition, and we're here to try to promote the program and get some buzz out there amongst the people in the community, in the Whitman Hanson community. Because I know personally, I went to a few meets last year, and there wasn't enough people there, and that kind of pissed me off. So I want to see more people there. I want to see more support this year for the team, the 2013-2014 season, and I want you to come out and support Zach, support Rob, and support the not only the varsity team but the JV team. So, Zach, why don't you tell us about well, first of all, why don't you both explain to us how you became captains? What's the whole selection process when you become a captain? It's quite an honor to be and quite a responsibility to be a captain of the team. So. I know back in the day we did it a certain way, but maybe you do it different. Maybe you guys do like you tweet it out or something. I don't know. How's it work in 2013?
Well, basically, they just, at the end of the year, all the teammates they had like a piece of paper, and you just put down the name of who they believe should be the captain. And whoever got the most votes, 2 people with the most votes, actually got the captainship.
Okay, now was it something where you guys, were a deadlock, were you a tie, or does Coach Broderick like to have co-captains? Because I know some teams have just had one sole captain, and some teams in the past, ones that I've participated in, have had co-captains.
Actually, we don't really know that. Votes kind of kept secret.
Really?
So we have no idea. I'm guessing he got a lot more votes, though, because everyone on the team really likes him.
Well, you seem like a likable guy.
Well, he's the kid he's really good.
This guy's the man right here?
He's the man.
All right, and what weight class are you going to be at this year,
I'm
Zach?
going to be at 160 most likely, yeah.
All right, so looking at the two of you, like I said earlier on the way in, you look like you're similar weight classes. How do you work all that out as wrestlers? If if some of the better wrestlers are kind of grouped in the same weight, what do you do?
Well, what we try to do is we try to get everyone to a weight class where the better wrestlers can actually get a chance and opportunity to actually get on the mat for a varsity level, and what we try to spread it out. If we have a couple guys that are actually around our weight this year, so what we're trying to do is we try to drop some weight or gain some weight based on the fact that we can get guys in different positions to put our team in the best position to win meets.
So is this something that you've as captains in the off season you've kind of collaborated with? Are you dragging out some of your friends down to the Venus Cafe and shoving some pies in their mouth, because you want to get them in a higher weight class, or, putting them on a diet?
We usually just leave it up to their response. We ask them where they want to go, where they feel like they're best fit, and we usually just work our weight around them.
Because it seems like from what I've seen with your program, last year and this year, that you guys seem to have a lot of stacked in the lighter weight classes, and that you're a little weak up in the higher weight classes and in the bigger guys. Is that true?
Yeah, that's a big issue this year. We're trying to get as many kids as possible for heavier weight classes.
All right, so all you fatties out there, after Thanksgiving, join the wrestling team. Why not come out? You think you're tough, you think you're big, let's prove it on the mat. It's a great thing. Forget winter track.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah.
You want to wrestle? And, we need big kids. Again, this is a recruitment process, this show as well. So if there's anybody out there, if you know anyone, any family members that are in the Whitman Hanson School District, try to get them to come out to the team. Even if they're a junior or a senior, it doesn't matter. They need bodies, and they need some of the bigger bodies. Now, what are some of the weight classes? Because you said to me when I walked in, because I'm wearing my fashionable 1985, 1986 jacket here, South Shore League champions. And you looked at my arm and said 147. What is that? So, what are the weight classes and how have they changed?
Well, I remember my freshman year, they had more weight classes guided towards the lighter kids. Yep. But as I've gotten older, they've changed it, so heavier kids, trying to get kids from maybe football more interested and get the heavier kids to wrestle.
Get the heavier kids to wrestle. Great, great. Now, what are you expecting to come out in numbers this year, for the team? You have any idea?
We don't really have an exact number, because there's guys who are always like, oh, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But at our first meeting, we looked like we had pretty good numbers. A lot of young guys were signing up. So hopefully all those guys stick with the program, and we can really build the team for the future as well.
What's wrestling done for you, Rob? As far as a person, being involved in the program since the youth level. What's it done for you?
Well, it really, it's a lot of work to put in. It's a lot of time, so it really helps you manage your time well, get your priorities straight, and you really got to work hard. So it really helps you later on with everything you're doing, because if you don't work as hard, you probably won't be successful in a lot of things in life.
Are you able to balance the duties of wrestling and your studies?
Yeah, I'm able to balance it well. I take a lot of harder classes in school, and you gotta manage your time right. You can't be off doing stupid things. You want to really get your priorities straight.
See, I know back in the day when I wrestled, and my cameraman behind there, who you can't see, Ken Sheehan, wrestled. Another one of our youth wrestling coaches. We actually had Bob Gay as our teacher. He was my homeroom teacher. So there was no messing around. You you miss school, you miss practice. So it's something that you have to take very serious. And I'm sure that's why you were voted in, the two of you, not necessarily because you're both great wrestlers, with a great potential to go on and hopefully win sectionals and states this year, but but because of your character and because you guys are probably both, you're both on the honor roll, or
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you there, Mr. Perkins? He's sitting here, praising you. You could go out and buy him a Coca-Cola or something afterwards. He's saying that you're the best on the team. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, based off of last year's
How'd you finish
season,
last year?
I placed third in sectionals, which was there was only like 3 or 4 kids I think that advanced from sectionals last year. Me being the only underclassman to do it. So this year I'm top guy, I guess.
Top dog. Who were your captains last year?
We had Jeff Beshin and Greg McGrath.
Okay. Did you learn a lot from watching them as captains? And are you going to take some of that going to carry over into this season?
Definitely. They were great captains and great leaders for the team.
Now, as captains for the Whitman Hanson wrestling team, you've been running some captains practices prior.
Yeah, you want to take that one?
Yeah, we were running some open mats to help kids who are new to the program or veterans to the program to come in, not really go all out because we don't want them to get hurt for their other sports, but really get your technique down, work on some moves, maybe practice some moves you weren't really as good as last year, and just maybe even try to get in a little bit of shape doing some running.
Right. Now, it's something that, I certainly advocate, and I know a lot of the other coaches advocate that you do other sports. Now, did the two of you play any other sports during the fall?
Yeah, we both play football.
You both play football?
Yep.
What position are you?
I play some defensive back and some wide receiver.
And what do you play?
And I'm on the defensive line.
You were a defensive lineman.
Yep.
You know what? I could see that because I was a 147-pound guard back in the 1980s. So if you were quick and explosive. Now, what's wrong with the football team this year?
I don't think it's really. You can if you come to our practices, you really see that we really do work hard. Just sometimes the dominoes just don't fall where you want them to.
Yeah. Sounds like you guys have a lot of heart, and you've just been kind of falling short based on some of the scores. But has football helped you prepare, for the wrestling season?
Yeah, football really has, because you have to get in the weight room and really do some lifting to hopefully take on some of the bigger guys. Because if you don't do, it's like both sports are kind of equal. If you don't really get stronger, you might not be as successful.
Great, and same go for you, Zach?
Yeah, kids have actually joked with me because since I'm on the defensive line, I just put kids in wrestling moves on the line, and I just.
I once did that, again, of course. This is midlife crisis with Mark, by the way, not Mad Time with Mark. I once did that back in 1984. We were doing those drills, one-on-one, trying to swim past them or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we had this coach, Dennis Lawsey. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's probably in the high school coaching Hall of Fame, retired somewhere. And I couldn't get past this big, heavy-set kid. So I just fireman's carried him and threw him over my head, and he was bull crap. He wasn't too happy, so I ended up doing laps. But so yeah, I mean, it probably some of those swim moves and knowing how to use someone's body, someone's leverage when you're pushing and you're pulling, and it probably makes it easier. But now, what are your expectations? Rob, for the team this year, how are things looking for the varsity team?
I feel like we have an opportunity to be really successful with a lot of the younger guys. Mm-hmm. We also have a lot of guys returning back who are some underclassmen, only really a couple seniors this year. But based on some of the guys who are returning and putting in some work, I feel like we can be successful this year.
Okay, and do you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple kids do an off-season, and I've seen a lot of improvement with the open mat, so it should be a good year.
Now, during the off season, not during football season, but during the summer months, the two of you and your other fellow students, wrestlers, are you going out and doing camps? I know back in the day that we went out and we went to Camp Monomoy, went up to Boston University, went to Peckham's, all these different places. Do they offer these things for you?
Well, a couple times over the summer, me and a group of kids on the team with Rob, we went to the Brick Road.
Oh, you went over to the Brick Road with Lee Bean?
Yep, and we got some wrestling over there.
It's a great, and it seems like there's a lot of places that have open mats nowadays for kids to actually go in and wrestle, and it's pretty cheap, and you can get some work in. So great. Now, do you have a heavyweight this year, or?
We think we have a heavyweight this year. He's a kid who's pretty new to wrestling, and we're hoping that he picks up quick. I mean, from the open mat he came to, it looked like he was picking up some of the shots quick, so hopefully he'll be able to become successful at the spot.
Those heavyweight matches, they're just tying up anyways, and just looking for the lateral drop, and and that's about it. So, again, this is a recruitment process here. So it's your job as captains now. I'm not telling you to go out and, extort these kids lunch money or something to get them on the team, but, are you going out and actively, speaking to these kids? Because, I know that's probably one of the things that bothers your coach the most. He's a physician, and he's not in the school as a teacher, and I know typically lots of times coaches are working in the school as teachers so they can kind of, recruit these wrestlers that they see, or some of the bigger kids, or the awkward-looking kids that may blossom as a wrestler. So you, as captains, is that your job to kind of go around and find those kids that are in limbo and say, why don't you come out for the team? You're going to get chicks, or you're gonna,
Yeah, I mean, well, we've tried our best to get as many kids. We've got like kids to show up to open mats. They just don't seem to have enough interest, I guess. It's hard to...
But we have got some kids to actually really get into it. I know we've had a couple kids show up and actually enjoy it, and hopefully they stick with it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal sport. It's growing tremendously from what I see, especially in the youth expansion, in the middle school expansion. There's this huge network that we have of all these young wrestlers and all these coaches that just drank the Kool-Aid like me, have it in their blood, love the program that they belong to, and we're hoping that we can with these groups we can start pushing a lot of kids up into the into the senior, into the varsity ranks. So, and now, do you have a JV team as well that wrestles before the varsity team?
Yes, we do.
And you have good numbers there?
If a lot of the younger guys stick with it, we'll have a lot of guys in JV, mostly around the lower weight classes. Yeah. But that JV really helps you out because it really gets you in the mindset of wrestling, and you really get that mat time in there.
So it sounds like you're pretty stacked in your lower weight classes, going straight up through the middle weight classes, and you just need to get a little work, a few more bodies in the bigger classes, which hopefully will come. Now, explain to the people out there that may not well, first of all, I want to explain that wrestling, it's a sport where, and if you're watching this and if you're sitting there and you're contemplating, geez, maybe I want to go out, you don't have to be the biggest kid, you don't have to be the strongest kid, you don't have to be the most athletic kid, but you may be able to get on the mat and see that you have the ability to to be a great wrestler. So at least give it a shot, and it's a great way to get in shape. And there's a lot of team camaraderie, and there's a lot of Panther pride, and it's done a lot for my life. Look at me, I'm 45 years old and I'm wearing Whitman Hanson garb. I never take it off. I wear it to work. But now you're wearing a shirt here that says Whitman Hanson Panther Wrestling, Rob, and it says AFS. What does that stand for?
It stands for Attack for Six.
Attack for Six. All right, 6 what?
6 minutes.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Or a pin. It can stand for either, really.
We've had the debate. I've had the debate with our cameraman back here, Ken Sheehan. Is it attack for 6 points, or is it attack for 6 minutes? It's probably both, right?
Probably.
And do you know where that term, came from? Do you know who made that term up?
I actually do not know who made that term up.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Not sure.
If anybody knows, go to the whwrestling.com website and send us an email. I think Warren Holmberg may have came up with that, but I'm not quite sure. You know who Warren Holmberg is?
No.
No, he's in the Hall of Fame of fans. He was a guy that was always sitting there. His son David Holmberg, who's your parents' age, was always there every single meet, kind of like Mr. Conway and a lot of people that used to, really follow the sport and watch it. Now I brought a few trinkets here that I have here in my book. Not many, but these are some of my my prized possessions. You know what these are, right?
Of course.
Tombstones.
That is a tombstone. And what do? Why don't you explain to people? Can you get a close-up on that, Kenny, or somebody? Yeah. On a tombstone? Can we do that? All right, there we go, right here. These are tombstones. And these say, rest in peace, right here. Rest in peace. Mark Chauppetta, decisions. T. Carlucci, who I think is now the captain of the Franklin team. Yeah. In overtime, Keefe Tech tournament. And this is another one of mine. Mark Chauppetta wins by decision. R.P. Cabral, 5-4, and that sealed the victory for this jacket. So are you guys doing this also? Because that's something that we used to love as wrestlers. It was something that made you feel good. you got rewarded by getting a tombstone.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that you've brought back?
Yeah,
or
last year Broderick brought back the tombstones for the
what's
first time
Broderick
in a
brought
while.
back?
And I think the team really enjoyed it, really gave them something to work hard for.
Yeah, it does. And you hang them up in your locker, and you guys are gonna have a ton of tombstones this year, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm excited for the season. It's the 2013-2014 wrestling season's coming up. I believe that the high school practice starts on December 2nd,
That's correct.
and their first meet, which I can tell you is you start with a tournament.
Yeah, right away.
Right away, you have an Oliver Ames tournament on Saturday, December 14th, but then you immediately go to a big match, which is at Duxbury. And I'm not sure if they're still a powerhouse like they used to be.
Recently they haven't been as much, but
Haven't been as much.
they're always a challenge.
So the season goes straight through to February, and that's when they get into the sectionals and they get into the states. It's a lot of fun, and I think people should certainly come out, and we're going to push that a lot of our youth kids come out with their parents to support the team, because that makes a big difference. Lots of times when I went last year, it seemed like maybe it's because the gymnasium is so big now. That could be one of the reasons. The old school, it was kind of small, it was kind of intimate, and you can kind of pack them in, but now you have such a big venue. But it makes a difference for you, doesn't it, as wrestlers, when you get people cheering you on?
Yeah, I think when you have a big crowd there, it helps you fight off your back more, and it gets you more pumped up for a big match.
Now, educate me, boys. What do you run out to? Are you like, Celebration from Kool and the Gang? No?
No.
What's the song
song
of choice?
we run out,
have you talked about it this year?
I think we're going to keep the same one as last year, the Johnny Cash song.
What's that?
The name escapes me
Sing a little
right
bit
now.
for me.
I'm not much of a singer, but
That's all right. This is at public access TV. Come on, Zach.
we can run home for a long time. Run home for a long time.
All right, so you get some old school
Yeah.
Johnny Cash. That kind of motivate you guys?
It's a good song.
Yeah, no Rocky IV theme or none of that stuff?
No,
No?
not Rocky IV theme.
You still take the kid, you're going to take all your wrestlers and have a team meeting and watch Vision Quest at least?
That's not a bad idea.
You heard it
Start that
here
up.
first on Matt Time with Mark. A little motivational thing, get
Yeah.
them together, and
Great movie.
hey, you know what? It has stood the test of time. So, yeah, so we're excited. Anyways, folks, here at Matt Time with Mark, I just want to make a couple more announcements that coming up soon. Next month, we have Alex Calarexis coming in. He's a Whitman Hanson wrestler, former UFC fighter. He's a bad man, and I think attributed his success in the transition into the mixed martial arts world to his wrestling background, his wrestling pedigree. And also we have coming in Mark Snyder, who kind of heads up the booster department here for Whitman Hanson. He's a local jeweler. Snyder Jewelers over in Weymouth, and he bleeds red and black. He has a puppy and no kids, and I think the Whitman Hanson wrestler is his kids. So he loves to dedicate time and money, which we need, to the program to Whitman Hanson. So, which is great. And we've had things like the golf tournament and meat raffles, and we're going to continue to do other stuff for the program. Because you guys got new singlets this year, right?
We got new singlets last year.
Last year. And how'd they feel? They
Felt nice.
Felt nice?
Felt nice. I think it was the first time in a while the whole team had the same singlet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we usually have like 4 different singlets going around
Can
before
you
that.
get me one of the old ones to wear on the next Matt Time with Mark?
We can try. We
Can
try.
you? All right.
See what we can do.
And did you get new warm-up suits also?
Yeah.
So you know where that stuff comes from, right?
Booster program.
Booster program, that's right. So if anybody wants to donate to the Whitman Hanson Booster program, remember to go to whwrestling.com, and we'll be happy to take a check from you, or even a boatload of cash, whatever one you want to give us. But anything else you want to talk about? We got a few minutes left before we wrap up the show. So anything you want to talk about, Rob, about what your expectations are this year? And
Well, I really just want the team to do the best they can do this year and really try to compete with the rest of the teams, because every team we face is still a competition regardless of the record by the time we get to them, because you really really just got to work as hard as you can to try to improve and hopefully be the best you can be.
Well, you seem like a nice young man, and you have your head screwed on straight. And I think that's I think wrestling probably has. First of all, I'll give your parents credit for that. And your dad is an ex-wrestler, you said, in Weymouth.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you get that wrestling pedigree. And how about you, Zach?
I just hope the team is like successful this year, and I hope all the young kids that come out just stick with the sport because it's great for you.
How does it feel to now? You're the captains, and lots of times, the captains are the two better wrestlers on the team, and there's been times where the team's not as good. Does it? I know you probably want to have team success as much as having that individual success as wrestlers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that's because it's important to win as a team, but it's also important to and that's what you do when you get to the end stage and you get to the sectionals and you get to the states or the holiday tournaments and all that. So, yeah, we're excited again for the team. We have Rob Bunszell. That's a cool name. Bunszell.
Yeah, it is.
It is kind of a cool name. All right, and Zach Perkins here, and Zach, your dad also was a wrestler.
That's correct.
And was a good guy. I think he's class of 1988.
89, I believe.
89, yeah.
Yep.
He was a couple of years younger than me.
Yep.
Was a super nice guy. So it was probably an honor for him. Was he kind of shooting singles and doubles on you when you were a little kid, teaching you?
A little bit, yeah. Teaching me when I was young, yeah.
Is this what my son Maxwell, who's working in the production room, has to look forward to?
Oh, yep.
Is he going to be the next Zach Perkins?
Yeah.
I can only hope. So, all right, folks. Well, we got a couple more minutes left in the show. Make sure that you log on again to whwrestling.com. That is our website. Again, I want to just make a note that the youth program is full. We're at a cap of 50. We start on the 2nd from 6 to 7:30, and we're going to be going. We're going to be going on Mondays and Fridays from 6 to 7:30, and then the middle school kids, the 5th through 8th graders, they're going to be going Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, and they're looking for kids. They're looking for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. It's a great opportunity because they're the next step for them is the high school level, and is bouncing up and having a chance to wrestle big time under the spotlight. So, again, if there's anybody out there, make sure you send your kids, or you make a call, or you shoot an email over to the coaches. So that's going to be pretty cool. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. And did you miss a football game for Mat Time with Mark tonight?
No, we didn't. We have a bye week.
Could have told me that there was a game and that your coach gave you permission to come to the show because that's how important this show is. Now, are you going into the playoff round?
No, we just have the Thanksgiving Day.
You're playing Abington still, and they're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Any Thanksgiving plans for the two of you, or just play
I
football
think,
and go eat?
Play football and
Last meal before wrestling, really.
Is that what it is?
Basically.
Just touch real quick. We got a minute left. That things are different now than they were back in the old days as far as weight control and all that, right? Is that something that you really pay attention to, or the coaching staff does?
Yeah, I think the coaches don't want kids cutting as much as they used to back in the day.
Right.
So,
Okay,
less
great.
of that going on.
So lots of pumpkin pie, lots of yams and turkey and
All that good stuff.
all that good stuff on Thanksgiving. All right, well, this is pretty much going to conclude the third installment of Mat Time with Mark. I am your host, Mark Chauppetta. We're going to come to you a few more times before we actually start to pack up and head out to the high school and get some footage of the youth wrestlers and the varsity wrestlers at some of these meets. We got a couple more guests coming up, like I said, Alex Calarexis, Mark Snyder, and I'm trying to track down Ron Brown, who is kind of the dawn of the program. He started the program, and we're going to get him here as well. And I'm working on Dana Levangie as well. So, but I want to thank Rob Bunszell and Zach Perkins for coming in. Whitman Hanson Wrestling captains.
Thanks for having us.
And I want to thank my cameramen and my producers. And that's about it, folks. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.